Than it is here in Detroit. This is record cold. We'll have more details on a kind of warm-up coming up in a bit.
Warmer in Alaska. That puts it in perspective. Just into our newsroom, we've learned Monroe County has issued a major weather advisory asking residents across the county to stay off the roads until tomorrow if possible.
Yeah, joining us now by phone is Mark Hammond, Director of Monroe County Emergency Management. Mark, good to have you with us this noon. What exactly are you asking of your residents this noon?
We're asking our residents not to travel unless it's absolutely necessary and essential. We're having a lot of problems getting our road commission trucks and contractors out to clear the roadways of the drifted snow. The abandoned vehicles and the vehicles stuck in the snow drifts are causing significant slowdowns in being able to clear those roadways to allow our public safety vehicles, our ambulances, our fire trucks, and our police cars to access the areas that are needed. We are still experiencing the blowing and drifting snow and the extreme cold temperatures, which has caused all of our public safety resources to be stretched to their maximum for calls for emergency services.
So, Mark, can you tell us why it helps so that people understand why they need to stay off the roads? You're going to be clearing the area. You got crews coming through.
Absolutely. We've requested assistance, and many of our contractors, our landscape contractors, our quarries and things like that have volunteered their heavy equipment to help us clear the roadways and keep them open in Monroe County. But it's impossible to do that when they are blocked by stranded vehicles, et cetera. And it's also impacting our public safety response because if people become stranded in this 40 below wind chill, it's not very long before they start to have medical emergencies in those vehicles. So we're going to have to send first responders out there to rescue them. And it's just, if you don't need to get on the roadways, please stay home. And we're asking to do that till at least 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. That way we'll reevaluate at that time. We'll see how the roadways are. But we want those people to stay out of harm's way, hunker down in their homes, and only go out if it's absolutely necessary to allow those roads to be cleared so public safety can get out and do their job.
Mark, we thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us this noon, and keep us posted again when that 7 a.m. time comes tomorrow morning as to your plans then. Thank you.
Yeah, cold overnight for all of us. 40 below temperatures it's feeling like, and hundreds of students at the University of Michigan Dearborn inside a new student housing complex.
7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner is live in Dearborn. What is the problem there, Jim?
It's a big problem. Take a look. This is called the Union here in Dearborn. It's right between Fairlane Mall and U of M Dearborn campus. Hundreds of students live here. Take a look inside. Water main broke last night. It's a hot water heating system inside, and it didn't take long for the temperatures to drop overnight. With the bitterly cold weather we have, frost built up on windows on the inside and even collected underneath some of the windows inside. The students here, hundreds of them, wearing warm clothes, finding any way to keep warm that they can, and it has not been easy.
There's no hot water, so no heat. So none of the rooms in this building have heat right now. So that's 400 some odd apartments right now full of college kids who don't have heat.
We're going to have to keep warm with the stove, and because we have no hot water, that means we have no heat.
And no shower.
Right. No, obviously no shower. So we'll just have to make do.
If he'd like to give an interview, it has to be off this private property, out of our parking lot, if you'd like to speak with him. So I'm asking you to please leave. It's time to go.
Your concern should be heat, not us, shouldn't it?
I have no comment. It's time to please leave.
Yeah, she didn't like us turning up the heat for answers on this problem. And check it out. She even called Dearborn police to escort us out. We left. We were told by the students the water came back on this morning. It was brown, but it was flowing. And just as we were coming on the air, the woman we talked to inside her room there, she said the heat has just started to come back on, so it is warming up inside. Now, the Union Apartments are not part of the University of Michigan Dearborn. They are just close to the campus. Students here pay $600 each to share rooms with each other. They say that's a high price to have to put up with this. This just opened up this fall, and they've had several other problems during the few months that they've lived here, but this caps it. The good news is the heat, according to that student, is coming on right now. Back to you.
All right, Jim, thanks so much.
Thankfully, it's warming up
Glad
inside.
it's back on there.
That's for sure. You know, weather like we're experiencing today can really do a number on your car. You've probably seen proof of this on the side of the road, which is no place to be in these conditions.
7 Action News reporter Malcolm Maddox caught up with a roadside crew from AAA to find out what the most common problems are and how long you can wait.
You have your AAA card, sir.
It's been going about an hour.
Imagine that for a second. You're stuck and waiting an hour or more for help to arrive in these conditions.
It sounded just like he wanted to start, but it just wouldn't have enough force to get it going.
Andre Smith experienced that feeling of helplessness last night.
I called my neighbor. He couldn't make it out. His car was acting up last night, so I had to catch a cab home last night.
Lucky for Andre, he was leaving work and able to make other arrangements. But what if you were someplace unfamiliar or, heaven forbid, driving down the freeway and your car dies? Don't think it can't happen.
It's happening to all vehicles. All vehicles, doesn't matter the age.
AAA crews have been working around the clock, dealing with one emergency after the next, all weather related. The most common problem?
A lot of jump starts, dead batteries, fuel line freeze-ups, just a number of cold weather issues, basically.
Replacing an old battery or making sure the one you have works properly will do a lot to keep your wheels turning. Something else you'll want to keep an eye on, your fuel line.
It's advisable to keep at least a half a tank in this weather. That way, the less chance of condensation in the tank.
But there are still a number of other reasons that might render your car useless in this weather. Fortunately, most of them can be anticipated and rectified by making sure your car is properly winterized. It could make the difference between getting where you're going and being left out in the cold. In Detroit, Malcolm Maddox, 7 Action News.
And another transportation note to pass along. Detroit's People Mover remains closed at this hour. It was shut down this morning due to the extreme temperatures and the wind chill factor. When it reopens, we'll pass that information along to you.
Other closures today for you, all federal courts, including those in Detroit, Ann Arbor, Flint, Bay City, and Port Huron. All locations of the Detroit Public Library will also be closed today due to the weather, but you will be able to travel by Smart Bus. We're told the buses will run today, but be prepared for delays and bundle up if you've got to wait.
And right now over on WXYZ.com, our website, we do have some school closings already in for tomorrow. Lincoln Park on the list, Mott Community College, and St. Joseph's Academy Richmond. You'll find that full list right on our homepage. You can also get those alerts sent right to your smartphone when you download our free app.
New at noon now, new leaders in the D, formally sworn in now. One of them is Mayor Mike Duggan. 7 Action News reporter Nima Shafei takes us inside the ceremony for a closer look.
I'm Mike Duggan.
Mayor Mike Duggan, the city's first white mayor in more than 40 years, held his inaugural ceremony this morning. The ceremony took place on the 13th floor of the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center downtown.
Do solemnly swear.
Mayor Duggan made his first major announcement at this invite-only packed house. Duggan said he was frustrated at how slow DDOT was running the other day, so he approached emergency manager Kevin Orr.
It drove home the point of how far we have to go. And so I went in to see the emergency manager, Kevin Orr, and by 10 o'clock in the morning, he'd given me the authority to hire a new director at DDOT to change the level of service.
And he moved fast.
By 4 o'clock, I had the director hired, and he will be moving into this state and be on the job by the end of next week. We are not going to tolerate this level of service in the city of Detroit.
The city's newest council members also sworn in, and Detroit's Board of Police Commissioners. And with that, the mayor of Detroit asks the people to give him at least 6 months before they pass judgment. In Detroit, Nima Shafei, 7 Action News.
New information now on a bill designed to renew jobless benefits. It cleared an initial hurdle in the House, in the U.S. Senate, rather, a procedural step. 60 senators just voted to limit debate on the bill. Senate Democrats picked up the exact number of votes they needed to avoid a filibuster. 1.3 million Americans lost their unemployment benefits after Christmas. The bill is a plan worth almost $6.5 billion. It would extend benefits for at least 3 months for eligible people.
And still ahead on 7 7 Action News. What vitamin D can do for your baby during pregnancy. That's straight ahead in our Health Edge.
Plus, picking out a new gym can be a workout in and of itself, but if your New Year's resolution is to shave off a few pounds, we've got some tips that'll help you lose weight and keep your sanity.
And later, we'll take you to other parts of the U.S. also struggling with the snow and the cold. But first, some of your snow photos. Look how cute. Send it to us if you've got a nice one. WXYZ.com.
Hey, you want to know when your
Airtime hit by a shape, always a pop. The main state, the research
specialties, many of them want you
to policy. Some gyms allow members to suspend or cancel a member.
Watch the
18 temperatures across the
live look at the flight.
1-800-826-2266.
The Arctic blast still grounding planes across the country. Here's a live look at the flight tracker from flightstats.com. A lot of red on that map, if you can see that, and that means delays and cancellations, including here at Detroit Metro Airport. So if you're flying out, you may want to check ahead with your airline.
That's for sure. Dangerous temperatures across the nation again today. Right now, there are wind chill advisories and warnings in effect for 32 states.
ABC's Mary Bruce has the latest on the deep freeze.
Much of the U.S. resembling the North Pole today. A dangerous Arctic blast crippling the country, plunging temperatures to record-breaking lows.
Full edge, and it's not doing any good.
What's the worst part about the cold this morning?
The wind is very, very bad.
I mean, it hurts your face.
Yeah, I can't even hardly talk right now. I'm just trying to defrost right now.
It's called a polar vortex, a whirlpool of frigid Arctic air, bringing freezing temperatures to every state but Hawaii, creating a frozen nightmare for travelers, stranding commuters on the roads, at airports, and on the tracks. A Chicago family trapped in their car for more than 15 hours.
I told my husband, I said, the next trip that we take, we'll definitely fly.
But air travel is no better. JetBlue Monday canceled all flights at 4 major East Coast hubs. Some flights have resumed.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset, but I mean, it doesn't do any good to get angry because there are so many in the same boat.
500 Amtrak passengers stranded overnight outside Chicago. Their trains trapped by blowing, drifting snow. Some amazing polar portraits of this winter wallop. Lake Michigan is steaming cold, the water far warmer than the freezing air. A water main break threatened to turn this Columbus, Ohio street into an ice rink. The deep freeze shutting schools and icing fountains in the deep south. Here in Washington, the frigid air and whipping winds are bone-chilling. This Arctic blast is downright dangerous. In parts of the country, frostbite can occur in just 5 minutes. Mary Bruce, ABC News, Washington.
A weather phenomenon is waking up people across Canada with what sounds like gunfire. It's called frost quakes. They occur when water expands in the frozen soil. It then puts stress on the dirt and causes the ground to shift, which results in that boom noise. This phenomenon is common on a glacier in the polar regions as well. Wow. Well, a couple faced an unusual challenge when they tied the knot over the weekend. Their church had no heat.
A pipe burst in a church in Montreal. It flooded the basement and knocked out the heating system. So an hour before the wedding, workers scrambled to provide some warmth. They installed several industrial strength heaters around the church. The pastor even ordered a round of hot chocolate for everyone.
We won't forget this at -15, a wedding at -15. That's unusual.
3 other churches and synagogues offered their facility to the pastor and the couple, but they decided to say no and stick it out and get married at their own church.
Can you imagine?
Their love warmed them up. They did it anyway.
I'd like to think that, but crazy.
Just call her the Blizzard Bundle of Joy. Meet Evangeline Beatrix Grove. She was supposed to be due on January 21st, but Evangeline had a timeline of her own, as they often do. So late Sunday night during the blizzard in Indianapolis, her mother, Mariah, went into labor at home alone. She quickly turned the bedroom into a makeshift delivery room and delivered the baby safely on her own.
Wow.
20 inches. Wow. 7.5 pounds. They're both okay.
That's truly remarkable, isn't it?
I I think
You
I'd
don't
be
even
so
know what to say.
scared.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yes.
but it's wonderful
She
what
did
we
it.
can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about it? We all need to warm up, Keenan. You're saying it may warm up a little, but
slowly. But you know something? Right now we're down below zero, so anything above zero,
Something's
okay,
better
it's
than
going to start to
nothing.
feel better, right? By the weekend, we're going to get temperatures in the 30s, but right now, brutally cold. Take a look at this. Detroit, 6 degrees below zero. Ann Arbor, 5 below zero. Hey, Cairo, you're at 0. Wait for us. Bitterly cold. We will see an improvement, but it's going to be slow. Take a look at the wind chills. This is what it feels like when you step outside. Detroit feels like 30 below. Ann Arbor feels like 28 below. So we have some of the coldest air in America right here in Metro Detroit by far. We're talking about leading across the northern plains. We're colder here than it is in most of Minnesota and the Dakotas as well. We have wind chill warnings in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, so that's the rest of this afternoon and overnight tonight. Still dangerously cold for Metro Detroit. Let's take a look at how expansive the cold air is. These are cold weather warnings all the way down to the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, the panhandle of Florida, all the way down into North Florida. Folks are shivering and dragging out their heaviest coats. Our highs today will approach 0. 32 is our average high, so we're going to be about 30 degrees, 30 or more degrees below average for this time of year. We set a record of 14 below this morning. That's the new record. We beat the old one set back in 1942. That was just 5 below 0, so we shattered it big time. Now, as we take a look at your feels like temperature forecast, as we move through the afternoon, it'll feel like 21 below at about 4 o'clock when folks are thinking about, oh man, I need to warm up my car to go home. Yeah, that's a great idea because it is going to be very cold all day, all night. Warm up your car. Allow the oil in that car to warm up before you hit the highways. By tomorrow afternoon, there you go, starts to feel like 0. And it'll be a big time improvement. If you stepped outside this morning when that wind chill was 35 to 40 below, feeling like 0 tomorrow will be, to your body, will be a 40-degree improvement. And you can see as we move into Thursday, we slowly improve. So it's incremental improvement here across Metro Detroit. Now, why so cold? Well, this is indeed Arctic air. And at the North Pole, the sun set on September 24th and will rise again in March. Constant night. And as a result, the air becomes exceptionally dense and heavy, very dry, and it stays there, and it just chills and chills and chills. And then, well, just yesterday, the doors opened and it spilled into Metro Detroit. So take a look at the dew point temperatures. These are the actual measurements of moisture in the air. This is clearly classic Arctic air, and that's why we're shivering. Add to that a fresh snowpack, 14 inches of snow on the ground, and you have, well, what we have. Exceptionally cold and dangerous weather. Look for high near 0, partly sunny skies, wind chills still down 30 degrees below 0, even overnight tonight as we see slight improvements. Last night we were at 14 below, 7 below for tonight, and tomorrow we'll actually look for a high of 14. We're looking at temps in the 20s on Thursday at 25 degrees, and there you go, 30s thawing over the weekend.
Thank you, Keenan. We're going to take a live look now from Chopper 7. Icy conditions on the road. You have to be safe out there. This is the Lodge northbound near Wyoming. We've seen cars sliding off, causing traffic backups. We're going to have more action news after this.
All new cold.
And
this workers' comp.
February.
Well, a month before the Winter Olympics kick off in Sochi, Russia, Olympian Lindsey Vonn says she will not be competing. She made the announcement on her Facebook page.
Vonn said her knee too unstable to compete at the Olympic level, and she'll be having surgery soon so she can compete in the World Championship next February. She thanks everyone for their love and support, and she says she's still going to cheer on all the Olympians and Team USA.
Oh, what heartbreak for her not being able to compete, and our team for that
I remember
matter,
that fall. It was a really nasty
It was a bad one, yeah.
All right, well, as we take a look outside, folks, just brutally cold. And I just want to put this into some perspective. Right now in Detroit, feels like 30 below. Take a look across on Minnesota, the UP. You don't get any colder weather until you get to International Falls, where it feels like 31 below. But we do get the bitter cold air slowly working out of here that occurs for the weekend, where temps climb back up to about 30.
It's going to feel balmy, right?
I know.
30, right? We're going to be laying out, right?
If you can stay off the roads in Macomb County, please do.
Monroe.
Yes.
Monroe County, right,
Yes.
right. All right, thanks so much for joining us on 7 Action News.
We'll see you back here at 5.
They're the
deadliest women in America, and only one woman can take them down.
Easy as apple pie.
From executive producer Sofia Vergara.
This is gonna be fun.
Killer Women, series premiere tonight, 10/9 Central on ABC.
On channel.
What happened? Some terrifying thing. So, guess what they did? Get the story behind. A mom scolds her kid in a grocery store, but
This thing's just getting started.
get the story behind the video that's got the web wigging out. And some guys enjoy a little nighttime snow jumping. So, guess what they did the next day? Why, this time, the snow hit back. Some terrifying footage of an incident that happened in August of 2013 was just released. This is that